We're going to begin by looking at y is less than or equal to x minus 1 and treating it as if it were a line in slope-intercept form. So the y-intercept in that case would be -1, which tells us the point 0, -1 should be on our line, and we can plot that. We also know that the slope of this line would be 1, which tells us if we want to find another point, we can go up 1 and right 1 from our current point, and we'll have another point that's going to be on our line. If we plot that point, we then have to figure out two more pieces of information. Y being less than or equal to the other side of the equation tells us two things. We're going to use a solid line because we want to include the points on that line, and because it's less than and y, we're going to shade below that line. So we can sketch our line, and then we can add in our shading below. Now if we take the same approach to the other inequality, we're going to look at y is greater than or equal to -x minus 3. The y-intercept in that case would be -3, which tells us that the point 0, -3 should be on our line. We also know that the slope of this line would be -1, which means to find our next point, we can go down 1 and right 1. So we're starting from 0, -3, we go right 1, down 1, and we have another point. And then we need two additional pieces of information. Because y is greater than or equal to the other side of the inequality, we're going to have a solid line because we want to indicate that we want to include the values on that line, and because it's y being greater than, we're going to shade above that line. So we can sketch in our line, we can include the values that are above that, and then the places where we have overlap along these lines and where the red and blue corners overlap to the right is going to be the solution to our system of inequalities.